So the 3 Brig encounter or boss fight 1. Now, I highly recommend for this encounter that you use something that is good for ad clear. So, my recommendations for weapons, obviously 2 S tier recommendations, are the Osteo Striga SMG, which uses poison damage. When you get kills or you get precision hits on targets, it spreads poison to other targets. And then the Witherhoard exotic grenade launcher, which you could just shoot at your feet and it will take out all of the enemies charging you. And when there's no enemies close on you, you can just use it on the boss. And it also, if you get the catalyst, it also has auto-loading holster, so you can use that in combination with an auto-loading rocket very effectively. Now, for this slot here, I recommend using a rocket with auto-loading. You can use any other power weapons that you enjoy, but rockets with auto-loading holster are very effective for this type of strategy that we're doing, playing cover, and it allows you to use your exotic slot in a different area. Now, when it comes to ad clear, if you don't have these 2 weapons, the Osteostriga and the Witherhoard, I would recommend using something like a wave frame grenade launcher, because you can shoot that at your feet and all of the enemies in front of you will either get heavily damaged or just die. Or something like incandescent, which will spread, burn damage, scorch to a bunch of different enemies when you kill enemies with it. And then another option here is Volt Shot, which does the same kind of thing for arc, except it spreads jolt to enemies after you kill an enemy and reload. So obviously incandescent is a little bit better because you don't have to reload. But if you use Volt Shot in combination with, arc supers, you can do that very well. You can use incandescent in combination with solar supers, or you can just use it on its own. For a special weapon, honestly, whatever kind of special weapon works for you and the build that you're going for. There's like 14 billion different DLCs in Destiny. I have no idea what DLCs you guys have or what weapons you have access to. I'm just speaking in generalities here, and just get something that's good for ad clear and you're comfortable with for the enemies that are going to rush you. And then, something on other types of weapons that you can use for boss damage to just work on the main boss and the 3 Brigs when they do spawn. As for your super or which particular class you should play, that is completely up to you and what you're comfortable with. I like the Void Titan because it gives me Void Overshields, and the way that I do it with my build, I build around getting my abilities faster. All of my different armor pieces here use different abilities to reduce the cooldown of my other abilities, so I constantly have my abilities up, so I can constantly take advantage of my vortex grenades and my shield throws and my Titan barricade. Now, whatever build you are using, I'm just providing spots that we can all use for every build, and with most different weapon types to give you guys, just a base to work from, and you can kind of feel out what is comfortable for you and make additions or slight changes if you need to. Focus the boss in the middle using this as cover. Once you get that boss down, focus the middle Brig as quickly as you can to destroy that Brig and give yourself some breathing room so you can more effectively use the cover in this area. Now, you need to be aware here that there are sniper shanks that will be in these different sections. Now, depending on what weapon you use, just use the cover and just take shots at these sniper shanks. Then we're going to focus the Brig on the left-hand side. We're going to get that Brig down to 0. Once we eliminate that Brig, we're going to rotate over here. We're going to pick up some more ammo if we need it. If we have to come before then we can. But, try to utilize as much of your abilities, ammo, super, and everything as much as you can so that you have full ammo for the last Brig. And then with the last Brig, there's going to be a lot of enemies in this front section here, some over here, and some on the far side there. So we're then going to play this cover I mentioned earlier, again, being aware that this is not cover. So you need to stand on the other sides of this as you can get shot through the middle here. So we're going to play these boxes. If the Brig or the enemies start to push up too far, you can push back to these boxes here. And this is actually a pretty effective cover spot right in this section here. If you just need to regenerate, you can put down a rift, you can put down a barrier here, or you can go through and use your invis and just sit here for a second and regen your health. And if we need to, or if we get rid of a bunch of these trash mobs, depending on which weapons you have and how confident you are that you can destroy these guys without taking too much damage or unnecessary risk, then you can push up to these boxes here, and we can fight the Brig from a little bit closer range here, as he should be around this section or back over in this corner over here. So that is my, overview, my talk through of this encounter. So I'm going to complete the encounter now and show you guys everything that I just mentioned. So that is the encounter. So you saw there that I didn't actually end up hitting this ammo box until the end because I didn't need it to destroy the bosses that were up. I did take a little bit longer on this right-hand side than I should have, and that caused the boss to kind of go berserk mode. So once you get off their outer shell, then they do have like a soft spot in the middle that you can shoot to do a ton more damage, but they'll also mostly be floating in the air, and they'll be targeting you with these kind of rocket launcher attacks that can do a lot of damage if you don't watch out for them. Now, generally speaking, they'll put a big circle on the ground. You have to stay outside of that, but for the most part, whenever you see them, you can just hide and play different angles if you need to.